What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. This is my fourth episode today. Has it been four episodes of Chicago Bulls Central today with all the news going on? But this time, it's mainly focused around two Chicago Bulls players. And now we have reports that the Lakers could be interested in Coby White. We also have it now known that Troy Brown Jr. will not be getting a qualifying offer from the Chicago Bulls, making him an unrestricted free agent. And then lastly, the Spurs did what? We'll talk about all that and more on tonight's another Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, everyone? You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me on Chicago Bulls Central. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Coby White and what that could mean. So it's been very quiet on the Coby White front. I've even said on an earlier video that don't be surprised if Coby White does end up on the roster opening night for the Chicago Bulls. And I still do think that, but now we've gotten reports that the Lakers could possibly be interested in Coby White. Now, I haven't got a chance to substantiate these rumors myself too much, but considering where the Lakers are, considering the Lakers are probably looking to add any talent they could bring in. And this one, it's key to move as well that this is brought on by other execs saying the Lakers could be interested in Coby White. Now, do the Lakers need some shooting? Absolutely. Could Coby White provide that? Absolutely. We already know Coby White had 3 months out of this season in which he balled out statistically, just shooting the ball highly efficiently, scoring about 16 points off the bench, shooting over 40% both from the field and from three. Coby White balled. That's not even counting the assists and things like that he was getting. Coby White did have a period and showed a lot of promise this season. That's one of the reasons that I did think that there was a chance Coby White, considering we haven't really heard much, considering nothing went down, that we could see Coby White still be on the Chicago Bulls team at the start of the season. Now, with the Lakers being interested, what are the Lakers going to offer us? I know some people are saying THT for Coby White. And, while I don't necessarily hate that idea, I don't really think that moves the needle very much for the Chicago Bulls. THT, and even with that, his average salary is $10 million. So that really wouldn't work under the cap. Now, again, I know people get to talking about deals that don't necessarily have much validity to them, and then it starts getting running wild with it, especially in Bulls fandom. I guarantee you we'll get so many comments that who the Bulls need? THT. But I don't necessarily know if I see that as being something that is going to be beneficial for the Chicago Bulls. Not that I hate THT, not that I even hate necessarily the money that he's making. I just don't know if he really moves the needle any more than what keeping Coby White on the team. And I know Bulls fans are really down on Coby White right now, and I understand it, right? And I understand that he's been vastly inconsistent, and is he going to be traded? More than likely at some point, right? I don't know if the Bulls bring him back, especially considering the money that they're going to be paying Zach LaVine. When you pair with Ayo Dosunmu need an extension, there's tons and tons of reasons on why it would make sense for the Bulls to move Coby White. But with this being said, what Coby White did provide when he was on for 3 months out the season, and again, even through those 3 months, it was times where the lineup was inconsistent, injuries were happening, everything like that. Could the Bulls run it back? Yes, absolutely, with Coby White. Now, again, we'll see what that means. We'll see if that if they get a deal that they like that brings enough. But I don't know. I guess I just don't know if that really does enough for the Chicago Bulls. Now, no one deal is necessarily going to do enough anyway. So there's always that as well. So we'll see with that. I don't know how much fire is to that smoke, but hey, it is something to talk about. Next update for the Chicago Bulls. Troy Brown Jr. is officially now an unrestricted free agent, or is going to be once free agency starts, because the Bulls do not plan on offering him or extending him a qualifying offer. This was something that I had fully expected. Told you guys. That's not even a toot my own horn. That's just because when you look at what Troy Brown Jr. was able to give, when you look at even the Bulls bringing in Dalen Terry, why he's not the shooter that Troy Brown Jr. once was, and things like that, I just didn't see it happening for Troy Brown Jr., considering also his qualifying offer was $9 million. So I didn't expect that to see. The Bulls aren't going to want to have that on their books, especially extending Zach LaVine. And I already said it before. They got a little bit more space with the salary cap coming in at what it is and the luxury tax. But with that being said, still expect them to use the mid-level exception, maybe in between two players, and split that up. And that may be it. We'll see what they do with veteran minimums. They may not use that trade player exception. We'll see. We'll see if the Bulls actually do go into the luxury tax. But with that being said, this Troy Brown Jr. thing is a lot about nothing. I think anybody who pays attention knew that Troy Brown Jr. wasn't going to be back. We'll see what's going on with Derrick Jones Jr. Now, he couldn't be a qualifying offer anyway because he's not a restricted free agent, but I don't expect Derrick Jones Jr. to even probably get an offer from the Chicago Bulls considering everything that's going around either. But that's really the update on the Chicago Bulls. Now, we did get a hell of a trade that went down. DeJounte Murray got traded to the Atlanta Hawks for 3 first-round picks. Listen, even if DeJounte did start off, it did get moved. I did not expect it to be for something like that. Like, the Hawks really got away with it. So now, I don't know who's going to play shooting guard between him and Trae Young. It almost doesn't matter because Trae Young's going to get cooked no matter what position he's guarding. But that's just interesting that they're going on a smaller backcourt. DeJounte Murray, 6'4", Trae Young, 5'6". But to go in on that, it really, really is surprising. Now, we do still hear that they are still interested in listening to offers and exploring John Collins' moves. Now, they're going to probably need more defense, especially on the rim protection. Now, what does that do? Does that mean that the Atlanta Hawks are going to be interested in some of the same players that the Bulls would be? Very possible, right? They could be bidding for the same free agents because now, looking at it, they're going to absolutely need some front court help to block shots and to get some rim protection because, listen, Trae Young ain't keeping nobody from getting in the middle. Now, does that mean that we heard before that John Collins for Rudy Gobert was on the table or a deal involving that? Do we see that the Atlanta Hawks go back to that? It's possible, right? They've given up a lot of first-round picks and draft capital, so maybe that's not going to be as enticing now, but we'll see what happens. But that trade was one of the biggest ones so far in this offseason. I feel like I say that all the time, but as this offseason continues and free agency is still yet to officially open, it's just going to get crazier. But yeah, shout out to DeJounte Murray, Trae Young. They're going to be the backcourt now for the Atlanta Hawks in our conference. We're going to be seeing them a lot this season. So we'll see what that means with that. But yeah, Lakers have picked up their options with Stanley Johnson and Gabriel. So we'll see. That really, to me, doesn't mean very much about anything, considering where the Lakers are and their lack of cap space or anything like that. They're probably going to try to keep everyone that they can. But yeah, that's where everything sits right now. We'll be continuing doing our free agent coverage, our offseason coverage as we continue on because there's a lot that's going to need to be covered. Make sure you sound off down below on what you think. Do you think that Coby White and the Lakers could be moving towards a deal in which, Coby ends up being a Laker? I would still like to explore and see, hey, San Antonio, we got this expiring contract. What do you guys want for it? But, we'll see what happens with that. But make sure that you follow the show. Thank you for tuning in to Chicago Bulls Central. Follow the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so is 773-270-2799. Thank you for tuning in to Chicago Bulls Central. See you lovely and beautiful people tomorrow. Like I like to end every episode on. Go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.